going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. In today's video, I have a special guest join me who has spent millions of dollars on Facebook, who's going to be sharing with you guys today his winningest ads as a lead vendor. He continues to generate leads for insurance companies nationwide and has spent millions and millions of dollars on Facebook, and he's going to be sharing with you the side of the lead business that a lot of people are not willing to share, and also give you the exact copy, the images, and share with you as a lead vendor some of his most winning ads that he used to sell leads to agents that you now have access to for free. The reason that I make this channel is to prevent agents from going broke, and most importantly, I want to provide free value to help you become a successful agent. As you can see, there's no courses, there's no affiliate links, there is nothing. Our goal is to provide you real value to help you make money as a life insurance agent in 2023. The guy that we're bringing on here, his name is Jeremy. He's going to share with you not only the side of the lead business that you need to understand as lead vendors, how they're willing to basically rip off agents and help them make money, but he also wants to share with you, if you are decided to get started on Facebook and start generating your own leads, the exact images, the exact lessons that you need to learn to start generating leads on Facebook. He has generated millions and millions of leads on Facebook and continues to do this for some of the largest insurance agencies, the big name agencies he does their marketing for that you now have access to. So what I want to share with you is dive into this interview. We're going to break down his winning ads, share with you kind of how you can start learning on Facebook, and most importantly, just provide you as much free value as possible. I love you guys. I want you to win so much, and most importantly, I hope this video brings you a ton of value. Enjoy this quick little slide. Let's get it. Cheers.
All right, so here is the Facebook ads library. A lot of you are probably familiar with the Facebook ads library. If you're running ads at all, this is like one of the best sources of inspiration. And I think a lot of times when you're first start generating leads, you like to jump in here and just copy. That's kind of like what most people do. But you'll notice here, this page, National Senior Benefits, is something a page we created back, I think, in 2020, maybe 2019. If you see, there's 1,400 ads, and there's not any current active ads right now. These are all inactive. But the reason that these still show up is because these were marked political, and all these ads are actually local campaigns. And so these are actually all the ads and copy that we were using to generate leads for agents back then. And so you'll see here some of this history back to 2019. Let's go about, April 2019 is kind of like as far back as this goes. So we had a couple pages we ran ads on. We had National Senior Benefits is one of mine, and then the other one that I had was Family Life Solutions. And we ran more telesales type and Medicare ads on this page. You'll see that there's one Medicare ad that got marked as political, so it's showing up here. But yeah, these are the two ads, two Facebook pages we were running our ads on. So if you want to get some inspiration, these definitely worked well. But keep in mind, the ones that are showing up here these are all face to face, and so and these are working really well. And so go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, and this is just the ad library. It's just a place where someone can go to basically find what's working, what's being advertised, so they can kind of steal or basically run the same ads. Is that all correct?
Yeah, exactly. And so the reason that these got marked, so like back in 2019, towards late, like they started really marking things political if you mentioned Social Security or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason, and I don't really recommend Social Security ads typically as much for telesales, just because it's a different ball game, really. You're going to get a lot of people that kind of maybe think it's a free program potentially, especially in telesales. But how the ad really works really well for face-to-face is because we can get some cheaper clicks and we are able to generate a lead card. This actually mimics the exact direct mail lead card that I was using whenever I was selling final expense face-to-face. And so like a lot of times we'll go to this library and we'll want to like copy, but if you're able to figure out what kind of leads that you like, if you're a face-to-face agent and you direct mail is the best lead, you kind of want to mimic the copy that lead is using, right? And so that's exactly what I did. It's like I grabbed the lead card that I had the most success with, and I basically translated it into a online ad.
Facebook, yeah, gotcha. You just kind of copied them. And then what was like some of the copy or like image, like what was a copy that someone could run? If you were to generate a lead now as a new agent, what was some copy or like headlines that you would use for like a new agent who's watching this, who like wants to go out there and try something on Facebook? Like what would you rock with?
Yeah, so if you look here, so I actually had a program called Secret Lead Gen Hacks that I sold back in 2019. I was selling it for like $2,500 for like the course. I think some people got in for $1,500. But these are some of the ad copy that I was teaching agents to use, and, and I actually shut down that course and access like last year, and I had a few people reach out to me like, "Hey, I can't get access anymore," so I had to reopen it back up for them. I didn't realize that there's agents still using this that I had sold the course to, but like this ad right here ran really well. This is really close to a direct mail lead card, but this ad and this ad, they both did really well. So it's a really simple ad copy. I mean, you're really just trying to call attention to the seniors that you're after, and you're always trying to lead on some kind of authority. I know a lot of times we'll want to have like a quote, a dollar amount in there for a quote and things like that, and that's all fine. But you have to lean on some kind of authority, and so whether it's the authority of being state regulated or the authority of like an insurance company, like people don't know who you are, and so we're trying to borrow authority from somewhere so people will have confidence in the ad that they're submitting, and they're more likely to answer the phone if they believe someone of authority is actually calling them.
Gotcha. And that was a text there. And then what is like the part B where you have like that's the whole text A and B? Like, can you break?
Yeah, so I have text. Yeah, so this is different.
Are you able to
Yeah, so
zoom
this is
in?
different text right here. I would do like, text to seniors, or, if you can do it specific, that's great. If you're in a city like Oklahoma City, you can be like Oklahoma City seniors. So the more specific you can be to the area you're in, the better, because you're calling, like, most of the ads that are running out there are very generic. And so the more specific that you're able to be, you're going to have an edge over the people that you're advertising against.
Okay. And then the headline, what would that be? What does that do, and why is that important to have a good headline?
Yeah, so if you'll see in the library here, so the text, so the biggest things that you see is the page name. That's like it's bold, right?
Can you zoom in a little bit on your screen?
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, so if you see like here, like when this ad shows up in someone's feed, some of the biggest things the first things you're going to see are like the page name and the icon. If you're like, so these two things are really important because they're going to be at every ad, and if we can make that feel official, like of some sort, it's going to be beneficial. And then after that, the next thing that they're going to see is the picture. And so we really want to connect that picture with, it needs to stand out, and maybe like kind of give an idea of what we're trying to offer here. So it usually gets their attention. So a lot of times I'll go in the ad library and see what's running, and then I'll get an idea of what not to run, because I don't want my ad to kind of get lost in the mix of everybody else's ads.
Yeah.
I want it to be a little bit different.
And then I think you just would say like the best place to find those images, you usually go to Canva. Where do you recommend someone to find images to post for their ad? Like, as when you're running your lead vending business, and when you're generating hundreds of leads every day, where would you find the pictures at?
Yeah, so Canva is definitely a really great place. Obviously, people are going to be using Canva, so paying up for the Canva subscription is great, because some agents aren't willing to pay, that extra 10 or 20 bucks to get access. So you kind of get premium images that way. Another way is there's an AI tool called Midjourney. I've been using that a lot more lately to generate leads, or even Bing, the ChatGPT connection there. You can actually create images there as well. So those are probably the two better places now, because you can kind of create specific images. But if you want something quick and easy, yeah, Canva is the easiest place to get some of these things. And I would adjust like the brightness and stuff in contrast to make it stick out.
Cool. And then what's at the bottom there? What is that, like, the people quote, get quote, learn more? What do you typically recommend?
Yeah, so they're both great, but I like to use the get quote button. And actually, you can if you run a dynamic creative ad, you can actually test the two buttons. But I've always, if I'm going to run an ad that's a little more like Social Security, or a veteran ad or something like that, that's kind of a little more like towards more like an organization.
Yeah.
And my people that clicks it, that's free. I'm probably going to pair it up with like a get quote ad, because a get quote button, because I want to make sure that they see something that might end up thinking, if there's ever the option of like free versus costing money, I'm going to have a get quote button. If I have an ad that's a little more like how much insurance is going to cost, like what's your budget, that kind of stuff, I might do learn more just to kind of balance it out. And so it's a matter of like, getting the cheapest leads versus like getting leads that are actually ready to purchase. So you have to find that happy balance and what's going to get you the cheapest cost of a sale, basically.
Gotcha. And then, like, what would you expect for a lead like this when we were generating them? Like, for an agent here, if they were to use similar copy, like, what would an ad, like, I guess, what would the cost per lead or the CPL look like?
Yeah, so when I was running this ad face to face, I was getting leads for like $9. Statewide, it was like under 5 for
Yeah,
this type of ad.
I gotcha. And then just
But
to
now
get
I
some
would say that it's probably going to run a little higher these days, but it's still like
Mhm.
pretty affordable, pretty cheap lead.
And then just to give you some context of, like, I guess why there'd be benefit of generating leads compared to going to a lead vendor. Not to say that, you took advantage of agents or lead vendors do. You would provide a quality service, but you would able to generate these for $5, and then like go with the agent. Typically, like agents when they go to like the Happy Agent or they go to all these vendors, like what is like that like you being on both sides of the game, you typically generate them for like $4 or $5, and then what do they typically resell for?
Yeah, so if I'm able to generate a lead for $4 or $5, I might sell it for 15 or 20. So I'm looking for at least double markup
Mhm.
at the very least, if not 3 times. And so, like, if you're as a lead vendor, you're in the business of making a margin between what it costs me to generate and what I can sell it for. And so either I'm going to sell it, make a big margin on that lead and make it exclusive, or I'm going to sell it to you and I'm going to sell it to many agents because I need to make my margin somewhere, right? So
Mhm.
we always went to the route of keeping it exclusive, and then we made a margin on the lead.
Gotcha. And I guess as a lead vendor, I mean, people, I guess, what is the biggest thing that they struggle with? Because like you could be doing this all yourself, but do you think people just don't take the initiative to start to learn the skill of Facebook marketing when you know that you could just kind of figure it out yourself, or people are just lazy? Why do you think people don't just go out there and learn Facebook ads?
Yeah, I think they do, and then they may initially when they get like for example like if you're buying leads at $12 right now, right, and you start generating leads, you might start generating leads at $15 to $12 a lead for a higher intent lead, and you're like, oh well, it's the same price, I might as well just buy the lead. When you're actually generating a higher intent lead than the vendor's probably giving you. Like the vendor's always gonna be marking up. So if you're buying a $12 lead, they're probably generating it for 6. So for yourself, if you're generating a lead that's $12, that
Mhm.
same vendor would probably sell it for $20 to $25. So it's hard. There's so many vendors out there that are selling leads multiple times, and so you get like you don't really see like it's hard to make that comparison. So like I think they usually kind of get scared whenever the first leads come in and more expensive.
And it just makes sense. The vendor's job is to help make them more money off the lead, so they're gonna go ahead and disqualify some information compared to an agent who's doing it themselves. You want as much qualified information as possible. And then, what does it look like for when them like if you're generating a lead, you hit get quote or you hit like learn more? What does that take them to? Do you usually try to take people to a landing page, or you when you're running this operation generating all these leads, were you taking them to like a lead form?
Yeah, so I when I first generated for myself, I was doing a lead form, but then I quickly realized like sending to a landing page, I actually opened up more doors, and I was able to get traffic on Instagram, and I got a better pickup rate when I sent traffic to a landing page. So we quickly went from even like this for these ads, these are all going to a landing page. And it's like, even though this is like mentioning Social Security, typically that would be a lower quality lead. But we have a get quote button and we have a landing page that has information, and they're having to fill out that manually. So we had an incredible pickup rate. And so we'd sell an agent 20 leads, they would sell 6 or 7 policies out of those 20 leads face to face. And so we had our agents were happy, and we were making a good margin on our leads. But yeah, landing page is usually the best place. Like for an agent starting out, I think lead form is great. But if you end up starting to see like pickup rate is not as great, I would quickly go to landing page if
Mhm.
possible.
Do you
You'll
ever
get
have like
better
a
information.
do you have like a test landing page? Like if you click those leads, is that landing page still active or no?
Probably not.
No.
I think this is already shut down. The fan of that looks. Here is my Typeform. I'm gonna log in this real quick. All right, so I'm logged in here to my Typeform, and I've had this Typeform account for probably 3 or so years now. And you'll notice that like um, these are all created in 2020. I've got other ones that are created earlier, but I had a lead Typeform for every agent that ordered, and so you'll see here on the right, these is the conversion rate, and so like. For some of these, like we had a huge conversion rate where like 40% of people would that went to the page would actually fill it out. So let me just pull up one for an example. All right, so here is the Typeform, and so when they click the link, it would open up and show this. They would click the start button, and then I would immediately ask what their age is. And so it's like one question at a time. And so they ask their age, ask favorite hobby, first name, then last name, and I said, well, nice to meet you, first name. Where can we send more information? So the cool thing about Typeform is like at each step, I can draw information from the previous steps and add it to the text here. And so I can say, nice to meet you, Peter. Where can I send you more information? I ask for their address, city, state, and then just in case you have further questions, what is your phone number? So, the phone number is one I want the most, but after they've gone through all these questions, I mean, it's just one more question. Like, oh, fine, I'll give my phone number. So like, it's more of like, I've already done all this work. I don't want to exit the form. So I guess I'll just give them my phone number. And then at the end, we ask for email address.
Cool.
And then they hit submit. And once they hit submit, that will actually redirect to a calendar page or a page where they can call the agent.
And so they can use then they can use like Zapier or some type of integration software to put it into their CRM.
Yeah.
And they can have that work.
Yeah, actually Typeform integrates directly into Google Sheets. So you could skip Zapier altogether if you use this, or you can use Zapier and zap it in. But yeah, it's definitely a nice tool. Yeah, I know this was popular between a couple of vendors back in 2019. Yeah, there was a period in 2020, I think roughly, or 2021 when we were using Typeform, and Facebook came out with like where you had to verify your domains, and the Typeform's ads were getting denied, so we stopped using this. But I don't think anybody's using Typeform anymore for their ads. But this is a really, really great tool to use. I know people like to use Go High Level and stuff like that for their ads, but so there are certain platforms for some like Go High Level is good at many things, and so if you want all the tools, perfect to use. But what Typeform is a survey form. Like they're all they do is this kind of stuff. And so if you want the best thing for generating leads, or depending on the type of stuff you want to use, like you're always going to get a better experience with something like Typeform. Or for example, we use Unbounce a lot for our YouTube ads, even for our Facebook ads. It's not like this. It's more of like a longer form. But that's all they do. All they do is lead generation. It's called Unbounce. It stops people from bouncing off the page. That's what they're known for. So once you get to the point where you're doing premium stuff, you want the best tool to use for what you're doing.
Gotcha. And it's Typeform or Unbounce. Sweet. Well, I think you shared a lot. Is there anything else that you want to add in that you think could be valuable? I know you shared the ad, the copy, the actual ads that you've ran before. Anything else that you want to add on here? Yeah,
let me pull up the Airtable. All right, so yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things, I know people always like looking for ad copy and like they want to find what kind of ads should I use, and it's hard to get inspiration and stuff. Even when you go to the ads library, like when someone stops running their ads, it's gone, right? And so I have curated like some ads for Final Expense, especially that I've seen that seem to do well, or it's good to kind of mix in. So I actually have a curated like a library here. So if you see here, I've got a bunch of different ad copies and image variations of ads that I've worked in the past. I've seen worked really well. And so if you want to get access to that, just feel free to reach out to me, or maybe Peter, if you have a link in the description, you can go out. I can send you free access to this if you want. And if you ever need help setting up your ads, I'm more than happy to help as well.
And this is literally like ads that people have ran in the past that you think are successful, that people could just literally copy and paste and get started with.
Exactly. Yep. Copy and paste. You probably won't see some of these images or ads running just because they might have been run a couple of years ago, but a lot of times these ads that are older, like are forgotten, end up becoming some of the better ads that people just forget about. And there's several ads I've run in the past. I'm like, oh yeah, that ad was working really well, and I bring it back to life, and it ends up working really well because no one's seen it in a while.
Yeah. I mean, that could be a great tool. I mean, for if you're just getting started, there's so many different variations, but you can just literally get started here. That's really cool. Yeah. So guys, I'll leave like a link in the bottom where you can reach out to Jeremy. He'll have this here. I think that's be a great tool for agents. Literally, I've used some of these ads before when I've got started. So, like the one with the kissing the casket, that was like one of my first ads I ever ran. Getting like $3 leads. Yeah. So, that's cool. But Jeremy, I appreciate you being on here. If you guys need any help, reach out to him. A lot of people have been asking me, can you help me? I just don't have the time. So, thank you for sharing your knowledge. You've been in the game for a lot longer, and I know when I first got started, like you were the first guy who was able to help me with all this. So appreciate that, and thanks for your time, man.